Gita, do you want to come closer, or do you prefer to be over there? Okay. Tell me if you need me to speak louder, okay? No, sit there and tell me, sit where you like, and tell me if you want me to speak louder. So we're going to be continuing a piece we started last week. I think you were both here last week. Anyone happen to hear this year last week? Probably not.
I got the first 15 minutes.
Oh, for 15 minutes. I'll say very briefly kind of the inyan that we're going to be continuing with. Basically, two main, I'd say, yesodot to summarize from what the Rebbe said last week. One is quoting the Rambam, an idea that appears in a lot of the different Sfarim. The Rambam has a beautiful Lashon where he says that Hashem is Hayodea, Hayadua, Hamada, which means, and that God is all-knowing doesn't just mean God knows everything. Doesn't just mean God's smarter than you are. But that the quality of da'at in its source, in its divine source, the quality of da'at is an all-encompassing being, such that this idea of Hashem's knowledge spreading through everything is that Hashem knows, is the knower, and that's which is known. There's no separation between God knowing us. It's not like God figures us out or knows what's going to happen to us. It's all within God's own self-knowledge. God is the knower. God is that which is known, and God is the knowledge itself. And the difference that this is brought up in this Sfarim to explain how our consciousness works differently, which is, I don't know things. I have a capability of knowing things in human consciousness, but I have to come to know something else. And that thing that I know fills me with more knowledge, fills me with more awareness that I didn't have. So there's a inherent lack and process of being filled or completed continuously for us. And a separation is specifically what the Rebbe is talking about, the separation between the knower, who is us, and that which we are trying to know, which in our context here is Torah. Okay? So the Rebbe says very beautifully, the big chidush that he taught is that why is it that we want to know Torah? What drives us to want to know Torah? What drives us to seek it out? And what makes us happy when why do we feel a sense of fulfillment or happiness or joy of knowing Torah? Why do we feel a sense of pain or discomfort when we can't know Torah, when we're missing Torah? Like, what is that? I don't feel that way about every knowledge in the world. What is it that draws me in particular? So he says something very, very beautiful. He says that as creation unfolds, this unified da'at, this unified divine da'at, as it trickles down, it becomes separated. And he says that the chelek yodea, the portion of, just come in. Anyone you have a hat? Here, we got you covered. Come on. Come on. Is that what he's asking? זה גם בסדר. אתה מבין אנגלית? השיעור זה באנגלית.
תראה, יש לי בחורה שלא מרגישה טוב, ואם אפשר להגיד למה.
ודאי, ודאי. ודאי. כן, 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 כן. 100%, 1000%. So the chelek yodea, the peace of God that is the knower, so to speak. He has a bottle, yeah. Right. And no, anything else you might need, tissues, whatever, like, חופשי. תה, יש תה גם. יש גם תה, אם אני צריכה. The portion of the knower becomes embodied by us, he says. We become the yodea. The chelek yodea is something that we take on as in the process of creation. And the chelek yadua is materialized in the Torah. So you hear that? It's like in its source, Yodea, Yadua, Mada, this is all one consciousness in God. But in creation, it becomes separated out, and there's like a coupling that happens where we become the knower, and Torah becomes the known. And so we therefore seek to know Torah because it's seeking after that lost part of ourselves. It's seeking to become whole again. As God was, as Da'at is whole in its source. It's not that it's not whole anymore, but in the way that we live in this world, it's separated out, and we seek that unity. That he even quotes the Gemara that says, you know, a lover seeks after their missing part in a loving relationship, and we have that relationship with Torah. So we're the Yodea seeking the Yadua. Were you going to say something?
We're reclaiming or restoring.
Yeah, there's a search after unity. After, he says all of our avoda, all learning, everything we do, it's min yichud. It's all yichudi.
Would be true of all kinds of knowledge.
So what you mean?
In other words,
if the da'at is all encompassing,
right?
Maybe anything.
Then the exercise of unifying would not be exclusive to Torah. It seems.
So is it true for all kinds of knowledge? It could be true for all kinds of knowledge, but there's something unique here. Something unique here that's more of an essential. It's like the Torah is our soulmate. That's basically what he's saying. You know, some people might be really on fire to learn biochemistry. I'm not. Doesn't mean other people aren't. But maybe that comes more to like what your particular neshama is drawn to. Here it's more a klali vision that Am Yisrael seeks Torah. And it's because of this sort of severed part that we're looking to reclaim. So he says that's the oneg of learning. That's why you learn something and it just like touches you. And you couldn't really explain what's so exciting about that. Of like you finally understood like when the cow gorges the this and the oh now I get it.
הבנתי בערך 80% ממה שאמרת באנגלית. אני מבין שהעונג הוא בחיפוש.
מה? העונג הוא בחיפוש. זה הכי עמוק. הוא לא אמר את זה, אבל זה העומק של הדברים. כי זה לא רק בחיפוש אבל, כי החיפוש הוא עדיין חסר. העונג זה בא עם החיפוש.
העונג הוא שאתה מרגיש שאתה נמצא בחיפוש, אבל אתה בדרך נכונה.
אם אני מבין אותך נכון, זה כי החיפוש הוא אף פעם לא נגמר.
בדיוק. זה קודם כל. חיפוש זה ממש אפשר.
כן, אוקיי. נכון.
אם סיימת לחפש, אז סיימת את דרכך.
נכון. נכון.
חבר'ה, תודה רבה לכם.
אם אתה צריך עוד משהו, תבוא חופשי, לא צריך לבקש, פשוט...
אם אני אזכור את המקום הזה...
כן.
25. אני שבוע שעבר יצא לי לשלוח חלומות בבית כנסת ברמות. אבל שם כולם בשבילי דתיים מדי. לא יודע, הם לא מדברים יפה אם אני בלי גיבה, ואתם אחרת.
גם לא כולנו כאן, לא כולם כאן עם כיפה, תאמיני, לא כולם כאן עם כיפה, לא, סתכל, הם לא עם כיפה, כיפה זה לא דבר.
וואי, חמס לכם, כאילו לא מבחינת מזיגה.
לא חושב, מנסים להתחמם, משתדלים. כן, חזק.
למשוך.
So the other thing is that he says that when we learn, we're seeking out the Yodea, seeking the Yadua. But not all our learning is like that, right? Like you don't always feel like, oh, I'm looking for something, I'm searching after something, there's something to find here. Like Kalila, it sometimes just feels kind of like it's not there. So how do we position ourselves to be a seeker after Torah? How do we position ourselves with the Yodea, seeking the Yadua? He says that gets planted in us when we daven. He says when we daven, when we daven, it's just encountering a light that's undifferentiated. It's not the Yodea and the Yadua. It doesn't trickle down as much into very concrete things. First of all, when you're davening, you're not trying to know or understand. You're expressing, you're trying to connect, you're opening yourself, you're being in God's presence. You're seeking the whole thing at once. You're not trying to just understand a Mishnah. You're just being as present towards God and turning yourself towards God as much as you can. So there, that or that pours in, It doesn't trickle down to those more concrete pieces of, of an ox and a fence and a neighbor and a halacha and a gemara and words. It's all. It's potentially, ideally, the tefillah can be a more all-encompassing felt experience. And he says just so beautifully, he says that the light that you absorb in tefillah, you then go out and learn in the Torah. I'm going to want to find the sentence because he has just such a beautiful way of saying it. And then again, I'm like cheapening it by trying to say this in a few sentences, but not less so. So he says tefillah is something it's hashra'ah shelamala min haseichel. If you daven and you start like feeling really excited, it's like, what is going on there? Could you explain to somebody? If somebody asks you like, what are you like gesticulating about? Why are you crying? Why are you smiling? Why are you moving your body that way? There's nothing to explain on a seichel level. Okay. He says that in tefillah, and again I'm paraphrasing to catch us up, and we'll continue. The ha'ara, the light that that you touch in tefillah, ba'a le'etzem nafsho, kol lo chal ba ha'perud. It touches you to your core in a place that's before, it precedes that separation, that distinction between I need to try to work to understand something with my brain and mind. My intellect isn't this narrow focus. It's touching me in a way that's more all-encompassing, that's more core. This klomar, ha'or shebalo b'shat hatfila lomdo achar kach b'limuda. The or that comes to you, the light that comes to you in your tefillah, you then go and learn after in the Torah. It makes you into the Yodea who's seeking a Yadu. And how does that work? Why is that the case? He's not just stam saying if you daven and mutter off a mincha, you're receiving or that you're. He's saying the hitlahavut of tefillah. If you're davening in a way that you get passionate, yeah, or you're mitlahev. You're aroused, you're turned on, you're activated. Something is touching you in the tefillah. That then positions you to be the seeker seeking that fullness on the level of knowing it. It's like I tasted something. Now when I learn Torah, I want to come to know it. And I was thinking about this week. I could try to just sort of make sense of it in a few ways. One, I think, very basic way is if you start with you feeling something, it gives you a sense of, there's really something here. There's really something here. I'll tell you like just a personal piece about myself. When I told my father when I was like, in high school, I was like, I want to go learn in Israel in yeshiva. And he was like, what are you going to do in yeshiva? He's like, they learn Torah in yeshiva. Like that's what they do all day. You don't learn Torah. He's like, it wasn't, he's like, what exactly is going on here? And whatever, I'm not going to go into the whole story. But and he was right. I wasn't learning. It wasn't like something that I was interested in. I wasn't particularly religious, And what I realized years later is the reason I wanted to go to yeshiva was I'd had experiences in my life where I felt like there's more here. Like there's something here. Like being in shul on the Yamim Noraim and feeling goosebumps at some moment. Being at Simchas Torah and feeling like elation. Even without being in the knowing why or even what. Just feeling something there and just a sense of an inarticulate sense of inexpressible sense of there's something here that I want to come to know now. I don't even know that that's what's driving me.
I don't even know what I want to know.
Right. I don't even know what I want. I couldn't even say those words because I didn't know that. But there was a piece of me that had felt, there's something here. And now, yeah. So the logical next step is I want to know it. I want it to absorb it. I want to digest. I want to have knowledge of what this thing is. And I think that there's another level where this is true, which is it doesn't just tell me that there's something there, but to feel something in davening or to just sort of absorb something on that level, it also lets me know on some level that I belong to this, that it pertains to me, that I'm not really an outsider. If it can touch me, it then draws me forward. I feel that there is something here for me too. So that's kind of some of the ways that I'm making sense of this very beautiful and poetic way of speaking about it. And it's much more than this also. You know, the Rebbe's talking from like a very deep and broad perspective, but I'm trying to make it also tangible for us. So let's go at the bottom of page pt.2. For people who aren't here, we're in Derech Hamelech, Parshat Ve'era, page pt.2 in the old printing. You guys all have that? Does everybody have? Yeah. Okay. The last paragraph, Gam. See the word Gam? Gam ha'adam v'gam ha'torah mosifim or al yidei tfilat Yisrael. I'll translate this. It's kind of literally translated. It will sound backwards, but what he's saying is that a person and the Torah, both the light of them get increased through our davening. Torah and people receive more light through tefillah. Mosifim or al yidei tfilat Yisrael. He's going to explain. Ha'adam mekabel et haTorah et hayodea. We receive that light of the knower, the one who wants to know, who seeks now. HaTorah et hayadua. Torah becomes then the object that can be known. There's a really beautiful Zohar that's where he quotes another sefer. I'm not going to quote it like word for word because I don't remember it, but it basically says, well, I'll bring it once for us to see, but basically the lashon is that the Torah is only given to those who are known through it. To be known through the Torah. That's where we receive Torah. I don't remember exactly what it was. But I'm going to go on. Remind me of this. So tefillah adds to us. It gives us more, and it actually, he says, Mosif or la Torah. It makes the Torah shine. It makes the Torah attractive. It makes it a yadua. Migilat Torah Sheba'al Peh Mo Yisrael. Now he's giving a practical, tachlis example. Where does Torah Sheba'al Peh come from? From Am Yisrael. We expanded the Torah. We made more Torah. Listen to this. We poured so much light into the written Torah that God gave us that the Torah just had to spread itself out and grow to become Torah Sheba'al Peh too. Hear it?
I hear it. I don't understand that.
God gave us something and we made it more. Am Yisrael made it more. Am Yisrael made the Torah greater, more than it was. Our yearning and seeking after HaKadosh Baruch Hu, after the Torah, is something that it actually created more Torah. The Torah says these things. What's Torah Sheba'al Peh? What's the Gemara say? The Torah says something, and we're all just trying to figure out what it means. We're all just trying to ladat. We're all trying to understand it, and that expands, that makes the Torah more. We're mosifim, la Torah. Gam havanato b'Torah, lo chakirat v'giyat haseichel levad. Our understanding of Torah, our knowledge of Torah, it's not just an intellectual exercise or chakira or inquiry. Rakitgalut or v'hitlaavut Torah. What you understand in Torah is a revelation of or. V'hitlaavut HaTorah. V'hitlaavut HaTorah, I think he means here the excitement and passion we feel from Torah itself. That is part of what composes our very understanding of Torah. I'll read more because he's going to give a mashal for us to really get this. V'im lo hisig or batfilah, right? Where do we get the or from? The main or we get when we daven. You get from that place where it's not just a portion of or, but it's like you get a big dose of it. Okay? But if you im lo hisig or batfilah, if the tefillah has nothing touches you there. Uvala ayen beTorah besichlo bilvad. And so then you open a book of Torah and all you're doing is using your head. It's like a poor mathematician who wants to now understand how much is 50 times 50,000 gold coins. Ve'eno zehuvim, but he has no coins. Ve'lo oneg, and he has no real satisfaction from this inquiry. Bilti im cheshbono hayavesh. He has his dry calculation. Now you may argue, oh, what do you mean? Someone who really loves math, they get a lot of excitement from math, right? That's all knowledge. But there's nothing he doesn't receive something from that. It's porech bavir. It's a dry calculation. It has no meat to it, no life to it.
Has nothing to do with
Because he doesn't have the gold.
Because he has no gold, and he gets nothing from it. He receives nothing from it. It's a thought that he thinks of. V'chein gam hu shelo himshich bo'or b'tfilah. This is true too. He says now somebody who's not mamshich or b'tfilah. If we can't really draw in any light when we daven, iyuno b'torah rak cheshbon yaveshu. Our inquiry into Torah is rak cheshbon yavesh. It's just a dry calculation. Lo or lo ma'or. It's not light and it's not shining. Lo oneg velo hitgalut. There's no oneg and there's no revelation. You understand something intellectually. And he says that it doesn't reach the rest of you. Ulehefich. And the same is true on the opposite end, right? That the tefillah needs a Torah. It's not Torah needs tefillah in this way to make it something that's revelatory, to make it something that's shining. Tefillah below Torah or omnam himshich aval lemala mimenu ulemala min haolam nishar haor. So if you daven but you never learn, if you daven but you never encounter Torah in a way that touches you, so yes, you've drawn light, but it remains beyond you and beyond the world.
And you're enjoying just the search without ever.
What
gentleman's point.
to his Kiddush. Perhaps.
What he's saying, the light that we found becomes revealed when we're done.
Yes. The light that we draw down becomes revealed when we learn Torah, and specifically it becomes something that's known. And I think this is more what this point is. Tefillah without Torah, you could get high on tefillah all the time. But you won't really have much to say about it. It'll be an experience that's disjointed and separate from down here. It's lamala mimenu. It's lamala mimenu. I can touch something when I kind of go up to touch it, but it's not something that's in the Hebrew basher, it's not like digested and ripened within me, such that I really have the knowledge of it. The knowledge without or he was discounting. Okay, dry intellect is only worth so much, but when or is digested and becomes knowledge, that's very powerful. That's the yichud that he was talking about. That's finding something. That's you have something that is now forming your life and your understanding and your orientation to the world. It's not just a sort of spiritual experience that exists outside of. We have to go there and bring it in. We have to receive from there and digest it and process it and come to a place. That's the sort of whole picture that he's describing. Ki l'sichlo lo higia, right? Because if it was just the tefillah and there's no Torah, it hasn't reached your mind. It's not just your mind. It hasn't trickled down and entered into your limbs. There's no embodied knowledge here. Since it doesn't get drawn down more, so only in the time when you're davening, it's only when you take a step above the world and go attach to something in your tefillah when you touch light. And then when you come back out of your tefillah into worldly living, so you become distant from your light also. This is like such a chazak thing, I think. You know, like disjointed spiritual experience remains outside of us. And the goal here is to be able to integrate, to yes, we need to go beyond seichel. We need to go beyond the limited, bifurcated, very distinct kind of compartmentalized way that we live our lives. We need to go touch something that's beyond that, which he says tefillah is an access point towards. And then it doesn't stop there. We need to integrate that in with our evarim. Just love this, with our limbs, with our body, with our thoughts, with our mind, with our knowledge, with living in the world. Living in the world. You read the Torah, read the Gemara, like most of it has to do with like the world. Not so much theology there. Like God's a character in it, you know. We talk with God, God talks with us. There's like communication there, but like most of it's not. We don't have books of theology till thousands of years later. Maybe we're ready for another level of da'at. B'makom rina sham tehei tefillah. This is a quote from the Gemara Brachos. In the place of song, that's where tefillah needs to be. Pshat of that Gemara means that we daven in a shul because that's where people sing. Just a really beautiful thing. Yeah.
Well, people only sing in the shul because we daven there. What's the hobby?
The Gemara there is talking about being that you have the value of davening in a shul is the place of song. It could be that the Gemara is saying that first and foremost that the shul is a place to come together and stuff. It could be. Could be. Should like make banners and like put them on every shul, yeah. But
That's interesting.
but look what he's saying with it. Because what's the song? You cannot have real tefillah without rina. If it's not in a makom rina.
Wow.
Huh? Lishmo el hatfilah el arina vel hatfilah is pasuk that we have piyutim about. Welcome. You might have to look along on the page because we moved to tzadi. Hey, somebody share. What is the Rebbe saying? Your tefillah should be in makom rina. It means that tefillah should be taking place in an environment that is exalted, that's elevated, that's pouring out. Right? Rina is it's something bursts outward. It's a place of song. Song is the context for tefillah. I mean, the tefillah can't be dry either. Right? But makom rina shamtei tefillah efshar lazeh v'lozeh. You cannot have the kind of tefillah l'hamshich, or if it's not taking place. I'll just share some with you. Maybe this will be helpful. There's times when I'm in shul, where people sing, yeah, where I'm just quiet and listening. And that's like mosif tefillah also. Sometimes it's because you got to sing, and sometimes it's even just being you absorbed from the singing. There's different qualities of hitlahavut, of being aflame. Literally, that's what it means. And feeling, hirgashiyot, and feelings that he says we need to feel in Torah and in Tefillah. Ki kol hitlahavut ve'oneg ruchani shemagish isha Yisrael min hargashat oneg gan edeni. I think what he's saying is that we need to be able to feel all kinds of things in Torah and Tefillah. Because, and listen to this, every hitlahavut, every time you become aflame in passion, and oneg ruchani, and a sense of a spiritual pleasure. Right? Again, the very basic question that we said at the beginning, like, why is it sometimes you'll be like singing or davening or even learning and you get filled with a very pleasant feeling? It's oneg ruchani. What in the world is that? What is that? I mean, really, like what is that? Min hargashot oneg gan edeni. He's saying you're getting a feeling of the pleasure of Gan Eden. There's something in the back of the Sefer here. Rebbe has like a short piece on the Siyum Hashas that he gave over, where he has a drush on the difference between Kol Yisrael Yesh Lahem Chelek L'Olam Haba and Kol Hashna Halachot Muftach Lo Shu Ben Olam Haba. Kol Hashna Halachot B'Chol Yom Muftach Lo Shu Ben Olam Haba. Which is, so there's a Mishnah that says everybody has a portion of the world to come, and there's another statement which says anyone who's learning is assured that they have, what is it, Muftach L'Shu Ben Olam Haba, that they are a member of the world to come. So he says what that means is that right now, your Ben Olam Haba is right now. Chelek L'Olam Haba is like one day in the future. But the Yod Ben Olam Haba in that statement of learning is talking about tasting Olam Haba right now. V'yafeh shachat b'olam hazeh v'torah mitzvot b'olam hazeh mikol chayei olam haba. That is here it says mikol chayei olam haba, but it's not the full. It's not the full. I think it's perpetuates. Yeah. Okay, so it's saying so he starts saying that we get it, that the feeling. So just hear this first. That the feeling that you feel, a pleasant feeling you feel in tefillah and Torah and holy things, it's a taste of the feeling of Gan Eden, is what he says. Okay? And we hear from the Chachamim that a moment of Torah, tefillah, masim tovim in this world is greater than all of Chayei Olam Haba. It's greater than all of it. However, rak she'ba'olam hazeh hagasha zu ktana be'erka. It might be greater than all Chayei Olam Haba. It might be more important. And different ways of understanding that. Beautiful. Different ways of understanding that Mishnah. But he's saying the difference is that in Olam Hazeh, why is it that you don't, like, all of a sudden you see, like, you're in Olam Haba, you're Gan Eden. Saying the Hagasha is Ktana be'erka b'chenan mitzot bilvad. It's Yafeh sha'achad b'Olam Hazeh, but it's in a very small dose. We get a very small taste of it. It's a spark. Uvegan Eden onig rav v'itlavut meruba, and in Gan Eden itself, it's much greater degree, a fuller experience. V'itlavut meruba, a great passion. V'haneshamot im Gan Eden meleim or meonig. The neshamot in Gan Eden, the souls in the Garden of Eden, are simply filled with this light and this pleasure. So now look what he's going to do with this. He's now going to unpack for us. Right, every feeling of Torah and Tefillah, the pleasant feeling that you can have is a taste of a feeling of Olam Haba, of Gan Eden. He's going to break up for us different kinds of Gan Eden that we experience. The Gemara talks about describes Gan Eden, describes the experience of Gan Eden in two different ways. One is tzadikim ein lahem menucha. Lo b'olam hazeh v'lo b'olam haba. Shnamar yelchu michai l'chai. One description is that tzaddikim, righteous people, never have any rest. Not in this world, not in the next world. Why yelchu michai l'chai? Pasuk says you should always be walking from strength to strength, from one achievement to another achievement, from one level to another level. Tzaddikim don't ever get to rest because they're always pushing forward. So that's one description of Olam Haba. It's also no rest in this world, no rest there either. Walking. The second one is that tzaddikim are sitting. And their crowns are on their heads. They're receiving pleasure from the light of the Shekhinah. Sounds like two totally different pictures, right? The Gan Eden that's about walking is a place where tzaddikim don't have any rest. When the Gan Eden of sitting, they're having pleasure. They're just sitting there delighting, basking. That description of Gan Eden, where you're constantly walking and not resting, it doesn't mean that there's no oneg there. It doesn't mean that there's no pleasure. Kilo Gehenim hu. It's not hell. Rak Gan Eden. We're talking about real Gan Eden. He's like, we really don't know what this means. We have no idea. But in the light of Gan Eden that exists in this world, Shiherat Olam Ha'elyon, which is when the higher world, higher levels of being, of existence sort of shine a ray of light to us. In our world, he said we can understand these two qualities of walking and sitting in our own experience of Gan Eden in this world. But Tfilah, Baha or le'ela min yidiyato v'hu mit'aneg. In davening, what touches you, he says, the light that pours into you, it's above your knowledge. It's not an intellectual. It's not contained by the intellect. V'hu mit'aneg v'hu mishtokek ladat et ha'or sheba b'kirbo l'mala me'hasagato. There's a pleasure and a yearning to know that light which has entered into you that's above your knowledge. Right? You want to attach yourself to this thing that you're experiencing, but it's not something that's intellectual. You don't know something that you identify that you want to now grab onto. Min ein lahem menucha. Shelo hishlim et asher rotzeh. It's that type of Gan Eden asher ein lahem menucha. It's that type of Gan Eden where you don't find rest because lo hishlim et asher rotzeh. You never really come to know anything in tefillah. You're touched by it. That's, I think, what the gentleman was talking about. The chipus, the oneg, the chipus, right? Searching. You get touched by something. You just want to attach to it. They could, but you never fully get there because it never becomes wholly digested. You have oneg. You have oneg, but it's an oneg that's not concrete.
Also something like this, which is so infinite, you can never have it completely. So even when you're doing it, you're always longing for. So even in the happiness, you still want more and never
Exactly. And this is something the Rebbe said earlier, that what we're able to touch in our tefillah is something that it hasn't been so distilled and broken down into smaller portions. It's just it's still more unified. And so we can't fully grasp and internalize it. But we can try to grab on, but we can't grab on. And we have pleasure in that. There's a pleasure in that.
That's the knowledge.
There's a pleasure in that. Balo or ve'eno misigo. A light comes to you and you can't comprehend it. And you're grabbing onto it, but you can't know it. Very beautiful description. Like you're touching something that you can't know what it is. The kolkach lama. Why is it like this? Because now you're in that quality of Gan Eden, which is Yelchu Melchai Elcha, where you're walking. You're moving towards something. Right? That image of tzaddikim walking, Mechai Elchai, means that there's constantly something new to be discovered. There's always going to be more. So what you're touching in tefillah, that is that sort of both connecting and longing at the same time. Having but not having, wanting more, you're touching Or Chadash. It's like there's constantly something new, something not yet, that's pouring into you that you're touching. Tzadikim ein lahem menucha lo b'olam hazeh v'lo b'olam haba. So tzaddikim don't have menucha. Their constant search is not only in this world, also in the next world. V'anachnu makirim rak et hagan eden sheb'olam hazeh. All we know is the Gan Eden in this world, is the taste of some, again, oneg ruchani, some kind of feeling of elation. In this world, shehu oneg im he'eder menucha yachad. It's delight, it's pleasure, along with a lack of rest at the same time. insatiable delight. You're in that, that's the state of Yelchu, that's the state of walking in Gan Eden that we can taste. The state of walking in Gan Eden is just being filled with some feeling that you can't fully grasp, that it doesn't end. You're touching it and you don't have a full intellectual knowledge of what it is. There's always more to seek there. I would say on some level, it's also like it's completely mysterious. It's like very present and very unknowable or unknown. And that's an oneg, that's a type of oneg. That's the type of oneg of tefillah. Avava Torah, shikvar hisig haor b'tefillah. But when a person who's experienced some of that seeks to connect in Torah, and he explained this earlier. He says what happens when you sort of transmit or transpose, maybe is the word, that light of tefillah, that elation of tefillah, and you transfer that over to learning Torah, he says really what's happening is just that that light is becoming digested and absorbed by your limbs and your mind. It's not that you're learning something that was outside, that's outside of you. It was like downloaded into you, but there was no unfolding of it. There was no coming to know it. Again, he said what he said earlier, the light we receive in our tefillah, we then go and learn in our Torah. All I'm doing is coming to know that thing that touched me. Umevin ma shehisig mikodem. And you can come to have some understanding of that unknown thing that you touched previously. Adarabah, oneg greda yesh. It's not the oneg with heder menucha. It's not the delight with a lack of cessation, of no rest. It's simple delight. Okay, I don't know that it's so sort of like there's one way to read this and say it's very sort of step one, step two. Like you daven, you have an awesome davening, and then you go and open a sefer and boom, right? Maybe that can happen. Maybe that's what he's talking about. And maybe another way is like, there's part of me that knows that there's something awesome and beyond. This thing, God. Some of me knows some of that. And then there's like a moment when I learn and it sort of all of a sudden hits me. That real thing is here. That real thing is knowable somehow. Even in a small little bite-sized knowable, but is something really like here and more accessible even than I thought. You know, I think that we can see this on a broader sort of section too. So I think the Rebbe is also giving us some direction here, which is like put everything you got into davening, and don't let it fizzle out. Don't lose your moments of inspiration. Apply them. Unpack them. Take that passion to Torah. Because that thing that you're touching in tefillah, it's there in Torah too. I think simply stated, that's what the Rebbe is telling us. And we talked about Rabbi Nachman last week. Rabbi Nachman said, the Misnagdim say Torah, 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 learn. Chassidim say tefillah, daven. He said, I say Torah, tefillah. Learn and daven, right? We said we're mini yichud. We need to be creating yichudim in our avodah, and to seek out more, to have a thirst for more. We have to feel something that's beyond us, and to have a little bit of a satisfying taste of what that thing is. To have a little, like you're thirsty, and then you have a little bit of water. That comes in learning. That comes in, then you have something that you can carry with you. You have something that's known. Greda? Greda is like, what's the English word for this? Oneg greda means like bona fide. Or even just, that's all it is. Yeah. all. It's only exclusively oneg. It's not oneg with head and it's just oneg.
By itself.
Yeah.
Is there a mag?
Yeah. Tzadikim yoshvim, kshem yoshvim v'lo'ochim. So the image of tzadikim sitting, not walking, right? The other image of Gan Eden. Ki kfar dibarnu hachiluk shedvar oneg tzarich yeshiva v'dvar she'eno oneg amida v'chen ite b'zohar kadosh. I don't know what he means by kfar dibarnu. I don't know what he's referring to, but he says that something that you take pleasure in, you need to sit, and something that doesn't have pleasure, you're walking. And he says this is brought in Zohar too. He says kfar dibarnu mizeh. He talked about this. Trust him.
Is there a chiluk between Amida versus Halicha?
So he says Amida here. Tov, it must have to do with, I assume, in Mazor, it might have to do something with the Seder of Tefillah. What comes to mind? But I don't know. But I don't know what you think. Right? The tzadikim who are sitting there, basking in the light of God, basking, all they're doing there is delighting. And they're sitting, they're not without rest. They're not the ones who are constantly looking for more. Right? Their crowns are in their heads. What does that mean? So you see here the drasha, he's saying it's not that the crown is upon their head. It's not al rosheim. The crown, that thing that they knew or didn't quite know, that hovered above the head like a crown, is now bi rosheim. It's now in their heads. That accessing God beyond the mind has now been absorbed by the mind.
Is that a concept that we can use throughout the whole Torah whenever we're talking
About crowns? That it's something above your head?
Yeah, like when.
What are you thinking of?
Like the Jews got two.
Ah.
But it was above my head and above the inside. Like a
Manyan. So, look, I can't. I'm not inclined to say like every time you see this idea, like this is what it means. You know, Rabbi Nachman has a Torah actually about this process of Torah and Tefillah building on each other, about knowing and not knowing, kind of meeting each other, and he brings that Gemara with the crowns, the top of the two crowns, and it's part of that a similar process that he's describing. So I'm just saying, you know, look in the Likutei Moharan, Torah Kaf Bet 22, to see Rabbi Nachman deal with this concept. But there is oftentimes, like in Kabbalistic symbolism, when we talk about Keter as being the crown, it's specifically something that's not internalized. It's something that's sits above, that exists above. Okay? It's like a surrounding city. It's not something that's really absorbed all the way through. So the crown that was at one time above the head, betoch harosh v'nichneset b'hem kanal. It's now entered in. So that's the sitting. That's the oneg of Torah. What's the place where you learn Torah called? A sit house. A sit yeshiva. It's an absorbing it in.
The Knesset is like movement. It's kones, like gathering together, walking. So
Bichlal, tefillah, you stand. Amida, I think that, you know, might be part of it. Amida, tefillah, it's like I'm standing because there's something, I'm not just taking something in, I'm also searching after something. Kefi ha'or shenitgaleh lo b'tefillah ken mevin b'limudo. According to the light that is revealed to a person in the tefillah. You have the page now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so follow with him.
Another one.
Ken mevin b'limudo. That, according to that kind of light, that's what you're able to understand in your learning. Right? Again, what did he say understanding Torah means? It's not just what we comprehend with our minds. It's the hitlahavut of Torah. It's the part of Torah that like really touches us. That's the Torah that's the Torah we know. The Torah you really understand is the Torah that really makes a mark. Ukafit shukato ve'eder menuchato al ha'or ukdusha shemechabek ve'eno yodea ma biyado b'tfilah ken tanugo b'torah. According to the yearning and lack of rest over that light, that holiness that you are hugging and not knowing what it is in your hand of tefillah. That's the experience of tefillah that the Rebbe is describing. Hugging and not knowing. I don't know what I'm holding. I'm thirsting for what's here.
Wow.
Ken ta'anugo b'torah. According to the degree that we can have some of that, we're going to be able to receive some real pleasure in Torah also. It's a pretty high aspiration. Like, how often is this our experience of tefillah? How often is this our experience of Torah? Rebbe's giving us some map. He's giving us some guidelines. He's giving us some street signs. I'll just say outside to expand a little bit something that we've already seen together a few times, but that the Piaseczna says many times. He really not only allows us but encourages us to embrace the feelings and experiences that are not something that we really know. That thing that you feel that you don't know what it is, it's important. It's important. Don't dismiss it. Don't ignore it. You might not even make sense of it, but it's there can be, that's real too. That is real. There's yesh bazeh mashu. God is beyond our knowing. Guess what? God touches us beyond our knowing also. Tefillah hi or lamala mimenu. Tefillah is a light that is above us, beyond us. Uba Torah mamshicho leolam ulekirbo. And in Torah, we are drawing that same very light into the world and into ourselves. V'imenon lomed. And if you don't learn, nish'ar ha'or rak lish'at ha'tfilah kshehit'ala atzmo l'tfilah. If we don't ever learn Torah, if we don't ever find holiness in Torah, so then that light, it remains only for those moments of tefillah, when we lift ourselves up a little bit. And then we're left without any light because we haven't drawn it into us. Now the Rebbe is helping us a little more here. If not every person feels this every day when they daven, there might be one time in the year where you feel something. That could be enough to get you going. That could be enough. Forget could be enough. That's what you have to hold on to. That's what you have to draw into yourself. Don't say, Yom Kippur was so awesome, and now look where I am. Yom Kippur was awesome. That was something real. Carry that with you. Trust what you felt and try to make that bridge. Open the Torah and with the knowledge that what I felt that was so real there, it really was real, but I haven't yet come to understand it. I don't really know it. So I'm going to search it. I'm going to search for it now. I'm going to be a Yodea looking for the Yadua. Akopanim, right? You feel it a little on these special times of year or special times of the week. Shemargish bo kedusha shenit kadesh. That you feel a little bit something was there was a feeling of something holy. Ulmacharato shel yom tov shuv nofel matzavo. But on Isru Chag, I'm back. I fall back to the place I was before. This happens because we haven't learned into our insides. We haven't learned that light inside of ourselves that came to us in tefillah, that was above us. V'nish'ar or tefillah rak lish'at tefillah. So that light of tefillah, it remained in tefillah and it stayed there. Now this is just awesome how he plays this. V'zeh yafeh sha'acha p'tshuva mikol v'lamazeh mikol chayil nova. What does it mean yafeh sha'acha p'tshuva in this book? What does it mean that a moment of, I think it was Torah Masim Tovim? Shuva Masim Tovim. a moment of being holy. Let's just say with that, being in a holy place in this world. What is that moment about? What he brought earlier from the Gemara, from the Mishnah, is that you need to, right? The Chassidim Rishonim would be shoyim sha'acham mitpalim. It means that people who really devoted themselves to tefillah, they would wait, they would meditate, they would prepare themselves for a whole hour before davening, just to get themselves into that state. So it sounds like from the Gemara that you need to utilize this moment, this sha'a achat, tefillah. Kmo she'amra b'chasidim harishonim v'shoyim sha'a achat mitpalim. אבל כנ"ל. צריכים להמשיך אור השעה לעולם. The light of the sha'ah, the experience of the moment, needs to be drawn into the world. That moment needs to not just have been a moment. That moment needs to become integrated into our lives. Right? This is a beautiful thing, the word le'olam. It means to the place. Olam, le'olam also means eternal. It means always. It's this beautiful thing that le'olam we use to mean place and time. But it's the whole life, it's the whole existence, worldly existence. Sha'ah needs to become olam. Okay, let's listen to what he says. V'yafeh sha'ah achat shehi b'olam hazeh. What does the Mishnah mean when it says Yafeh sha'ah achat b'tshuva ma'asim tovim ba'olam hazeh? What does it mean that a moment of holiness in this world is beautiful? It's when the moment becomes integrated into the world. Sha'ah achat ba'olam hazeh. Not a fleeting moment that happened and then Isruchag happens and you're back where you were before. We probably all know that one. Maybe not all of us. I know that one. But when the moment gets drawn into my very life, when I really am able to absorb and digest and internalize that experience to become part of me. We can understand now the words of Rava. She'amar Rav Hamnuna k'shayamarach b'tfilato. Rava saw Rav Hamnuna davening for a very long time. And he said, Minichem chaye olam ve'oskim b'chaye sha'ah. He's abandoning chaye olam, which most people understand like eternal life, for chaye sha'ah, for momentary life. Which he's basically saying, no, stop davening so long, you should be learning Torah. Torah is chaye olam. It's eternal. It's eternal, it's also worldly. And he's just there in chaye sha'ah. He's just holding on to that momentary experience. Now, what does he really mean in this context? Shekevan shaya marich b'tfilato v'lo chash li'mod teichef im ken nishar etzlo rak sha'ah. He says, because Rav Hamnuna was really just, all he was concerned with there was davening, and he didn't concern himself. Li'mod teichef. What we were saying before, the Rebbe is saying, you know what, take it to learning right away. Take it to learn right away. Don't let it go to waste. You have inspiration, soak in it, and then learn it. Soak in it, and then learn it out. But what Rava was saying about Rav Hamnuna is he's not bringing that moment into his life. He's not bringing that tefillah, that light from sha'ah to olam. He's not making it something that's going to last. He's not drawing it down. He came away from tefillah with a moment, but not with a world, and not with an eternal knowing. It's so awesome. It's so awesome to speak to that feeling of, I think what many of us experience about, it's so easy to lose hold of those important moments in life because they were moments and they happened and now we are where we are. And the Rebbe is trying to help us not let those things come and go. First, he's trying to help us learn how do you seek it out. He's describing to us what is possible in tefillah. Just search and yearn and hold on. The yelchu, the oneg you can have in tefillah is the oneg of yelchu, of moving towards something, just turning towards something, wanting something. and then don't squander it. When you're touched by something, don't let it slip away. Like something that I said last week is that I think we experience the God that we dive into and the God we learn from as being two different things.
Mm-hmm.
It's heretical to say that, right? But like, that's kind of it's like, oh, davening, and then like Torah. But really, what it is that we're utilizing different parts of us for those things, and we then just we experience them as being things that are totally different. And he's saying here, draw it in, draw the bridge. Know that it's one thing. Umafrid ben olam l'sha'ah sheyefeh sha'acha palamazeh. So Rabbi was saying that when Rav Hamnuna, if he's davening, he's not applying that. What he's davening, he's not applying that to his learning. So he's separating between olam l'sha'ah sheyefeh sha'acha palamazeh. He's not fulfilling that beauty of bringing a sha'ah of Gan Eden into life of this world. It's staying in that moment. You have to get going. You have appointments. Yeah, I'm going to read on the last few lines because it's an important thing to add. Okay. I'm going to read these last two mini paragraphs quickly, ish, because we're coming to the end of our time. But it's an important piece that is added here. Avalo b'limud b'iyum bilvad mamshichim et hasha'ah le'olam ve'et or kedushat atfilah l'Torah. It's not only in in-depth learning that we're able to draw that light of tefillah to Torah. I think this is very good to hear also because it's like, not all of us are able to have that kind of learning. Always, or even have the time for that, or the interest for that, the motivation. Like there's other ways. It's not just spending hours learning that's going to help you absorb that. Right? The whole thing here is to be able to absorb a light that's beyond us into ourselves. So he's saying, your mind is only one part of you. Even though it's the most, the choicest piece, like your mind is able to do things that no other part of you can do. It's still just a part. Still just a part. There's many other strengths, abilities in your body. If you don't draw in the light of tefillah to any part of you other than your intellect in Torah, other than your knowing, you've only drawn it to that specific part of you. You can't absorb all of that light of tefillah just by using the mind. I think I mentioned it at some point, this Gemara where Bruria saw a Talmid learning, but quietly, and she kicked him. Mm-hmm. And she's like, if you learn by using your voice, then the Torah is gonna really enter into it.
That's where it's
That where it is? I don't remember where it is exactly, but there's a similar thing that use your kochot, use all of your energies. All parts of you are not only able to absorb kedusha, but are necessary. You don't want to just have a holy mind and a not a holy, 90 whatever % of the rest of you. We're still leaving part of the Chai Sha'ah untapped. We're still leaving part of that holiness unknown if we don't use our other parts and strengths. We need to serve God with our bodies. Pashut. The simplest meaning of that, the simplest meaning of that is you got to just do mitzvot with your body. Imagine you daven, imagine you learn a lot, but the mitzvah is there. So he's saying the most basic thing is, and I think he's telling us too, no, bring that consciousness to doing mitzvot. Bring that consciousness to your action. That you're not just kind of following a command and an order here. You're drawing God's light to your being. You're drawing God's light into your being. Not beyond just the fact that we have to actually do, which is avodat haguf in the simplest way. We need to put ourselves into it. We need to exert ourselves. We use our strengths. It's not enough to just do. Just, oh, I learned now, and now I do a mitzvah, and now I do this thing. Like you'd have a very pretty schedule, but not exert any part of yourself. There's nothing of you has been uncovered through that. Right? The yagia, exerting ourselves, really putting ourselves into something, is what brings out the strength, the powers, the capabilities of the body, the energy of the body. If in Torah, you're not just learning, it's not just lip service, but you're really working with all of your limbs. When you learn, you're bringing all of yourself to the learning. And with mitzvot too, you're really putting yourself into it. Az hu motzi koach gufo umachlifo bekoach hakdusha shechofef al vosho mitfilato. You're putting out energy of your body and exchanging it. This is just translating his words, and I'll try to explain the best again. You're putting out the koach, the energy of your body, and in exchange, you're receiving the koach hakdusha, that holy energy that is sort of hovering beyond you and outside of you that you touched in tefillah. Again, it becomes absorbed in your limbs, in your body, not just knowing intellectually, but you can let it sink into all of you by putting yourself more into your learning and into your mitzvot. I'll just finish the sentence. And if you don't exert yourself, if you don't exert yourself and put out in Torah and doing mitzvot, he says that there's no room for that holy energy to trickle in. I think part of what he means very simply is we have to make space for holiness in our lives. We have to make space for that in our lives. Davening is one place of making space, but it doesn't really become absorbed. For it to really become absorbed, because think about this, right? The tefillah is like this ore that is unknown. How do I bring ore that is unknown into me? How does it become known? One way is I seek it in Torah. And that is intellectually, okay, is something that starts with not knowing. I'm bringing that, I'm starting with that unknown, and I'm digging into it and trying to come to know it. I'm exerting my mind to move from unknown to known. But with my body too, I don't know I'm going to do a mitzvah. Okay, it's a mitzvah. Why should I put myself into it? Why should I throw myself into it? Why should I abandon my sort of comfort when I do it? There's another process there of throwing myself into unknown. It's on a smaller scale, right? But to exert myself, I'm taking a chance. I'm saying, God, if you're in this, like, I'm really going to go for it. And there's a beautiful thing that my body's energy can be sort of re-energized by something holy. I think that's a story. You dance, you sing. At some point, you don't feel tired. You feel energized, right? When you get your body into holy activity, it energizes you. What is that energy? What is that energy? So you could say, well, the body, if you exercise, also you get energized. Well, but he's saying, no, you're making space to be enlivened by something holy. Yeah.
I'm sitting down davening, and my body gets so tired, and then when my husband starts dancing, all of a sudden all this energy.
Yom Kippur, that's on some level, that's all of what we do on Yom Kippur is we replace our koach haguf with koach kedusha. Like the 5 inuim of Yom Kippur, the 5 things that we refrain from on Yom Kippur are basically the 5 sources of vitality that we turn to the rest of the year. And that's the day we're saying, my life comes from God. I want to get life from God. So I'm going to just take away all those other resources and step into a different flow. So we're going to end here. This time's up. But I think this last piece is really important because the Rebbe is sort of like bringing it down to like nuts and bolts. So like, when you do stuff like, do it. You want this stuff to be meaningful? Like, put yourself in it. Maybe it won't happen immediately. Nothing here is magic. But we have sort of, again, like a map, points along the way. Feeling that you could feel in tefillah, something that's not an intellectual exercise, is an or gadol that you're able to then absorb and digest and bring into you. Wanting to come to know something in tefillah is seeking that wholeness that exists for you, but you haven't yet known in this way. And by really giving ourselves into Torah, and by really giving ourselves into our actions, when we're doing things for Hashem, it makes room for something to trickle in and start to become part of us in a real way, in a whole way. Thanks for coming. Thanks for learning the story with me. We wanted to learn this people for a long time. Great.
You were saying just at the end about